Hey everybody, it's Justice for Comics. It is Friday. I haven't done too many streams this week. I think I did one on Monday. Kind of took a little bit of a break. New Year's, I had a little too much to drink on New Year's. So I'm still, as are some of us, I'm sure. Hey, Comic Kid 84, I see he's in that. Hope everybody had a great Christmas, New Year's. Yeah, good time with family and friends. Just kind of hung out at the homestead. Didn't really travel, go anywhere. Just kind of stayed local. That's usually what we do a lot of times in the holidays. Last year we went up to New Jersey to visit family. So it's yeah, usually every other year we'll stay local and then maybe go up north where it's colder, just to get a little variety to life, as they say. All right, Mad Mike's Comics, he's in the house. What's up, my friend? What's going on? I haven't smoked a cigar since New Year's. Wow, 2 days. Setting a record. But yeah, I overdid it a little bit on New Year's, so I'm inclined to be more kind of a detox a little bit. All right. So what are we going to talk about? I'm going to show probably go over CBSI's top 10 list. 10 list from last Friday that I didn't do. That was sort of a review of books that were on the top 10 list multiple times last year. So I thought that was an interesting list. Reviewing and going over. I was happy. There was, I think, 3 or 4 of the top 10 I own. So I was glad to see that I had a few of those books that were on the list from last Friday. All right, so 2 top 10 lists. I'm going to do the one from last Friday for this week that just dropped 10 minutes ago. So that'll be kind of a cool video to review. So let me share my screen. 1 second here. All right, so I get this off of the website, comicbookinvest.com, CBSI. They're pretty well known in the YouTube comic community. Most people know about them. They have editorials. They kind of highlight hot books that are on the move. You can subscribe to them and get all kinds of extras and all that good stuff. But I've been doing this top 10, review of their top 10 every week for probably most of this past year. So it's kind of a regular thing for me. A lot of my subscribers tell me that they pretty much don't miss any of these videos that I do because they like to see my comments and review of the books and get my opinion on things. So that's kind of why you're checking out people's YouTube channels, not only to check out their collection, books that they've collected, but also to get opinions and, thoughts on what you think is a good book to collect or, something that's worth going after. So let's jump into it here. Number 10, this is last Friday's list. Now, this is kind of a review for books for the entire year of 2019. So the first thing we'll go over is honorable mentions. Giant-sized X-Men #1, obviously a marquee book. Any serious collector would love to have that book in their collection. It's a book I had in my collection a long time ago. I would love to have the opportunity again to buy, a decent grade. I don't know that I could afford. I don't think I will. I don't think I would spend the money for the grade that I used to. I had that in a 9.6 white pages CGC slabbed previously, which pushing probably $6,000-7,000. I don't know. I mean, I think I paid $2,000 for it back in the day, which I thought was a lot of money. Sold it for like $3,000, so I made a nice profit. But obviously, I regret selling it. I had to at the time. Financially, I needed the money, but definitely a marquee book. If I could own that, I would say Raw 9.0 or better. That would be a great book to have in the collection. So it's definitely on my Grail list. I would love to own that book again. So yeah, that's a honorable mention. Definitely deserves to be on the list. The other honorable mention is Avengers 43. That is a book that I picked up last year, early last year. So a lot of you know about that. I did a couple videos on it. If you go back and look at my video history, I recommended buying this way before it got hot. I bought it for like $40, and it's pretty decent grade. Mine's like an 8.0 to an 8.5. Really nice grade. Which that book's going raw condition. At the grade I have is going well north of $300 now. So it was definitely a fantastic buy. The Black Widow movie's coming out. I believe is it February or March? I just saw the trailer. I went to see the Star Wars movie, and yeah, the trailer is excellent. I thought the trailer was very, very good. I love the music. It looks interesting. I think the movie will do very well. So I think Avengers 43 could see a little bit more heat, but the bulk of the move has already happened. If you're still wanting to buy that book, good luck. Maybe you can find a deal on eBay. You probably won't. You're more likely to maybe find it in a back issue bin, maybe some old comic book shop, flea market. I don't know, something like that. You might have a better chance. But that will be a book that's tough to get in high grade. So number 10 on the list, we'll start off with that. Umbrella Academy #1. Great series. I collected this book when it came out. So I do have the first issue, but I have the variant of that, which I don't think goes for quite as much money. It's a slightly less in value, but I do have that entire run, every single issue. I don't have the free comic book day. I never really knew about that book. When the show came out, all of a sudden I found out about that free comic book day. I didn't know that that was actually the first appearance of Umbrella Academy. I thought I had owned it the whole time by buying the series, but yeah, it deserves to be on the list. The prices, I think, have come down slightly on it from when the show first came out earlier last year. But a lot of anticipation for the second season, which I believe will be out in the summer of 2020. So you could see Umbrella Academy obviously go higher in price, no doubt about it. It's definitely a great book. There is a white cover variant of issue #1 that goes for pretty big money. It says here $600 and 9.8. So yeah, that's definitely a good comic book series and a great TV show on Netflix. Number 9, Incredible Hulk 449. This was a hot book this past year. A lot of movement. It was on the top 10 list a couple times. First appearance of Thunderbolts. Potentially there's movie news. We could see that an upcoming movie with that team in it. Who knows? I think the prices have calmed down slightly on it, but it still sells consistently, I think, in that $50 to $75 range pretty easily. So that would be a book, if you can find it cheap, that might be worth picking up for a long-term investment. Number 8 is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #95. This is the San Diego Comic-Con variant. Only 200 of those made, so pretty low print run. Sells consistently around $250 for a raw copy. That's about right. It's about what it came out. I think when it first came out, I noticed prices in the $300 to $400 range. So it's come down a little bit off of that, but still a strong seller. If you're a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan and you're into the new turtle, the new character, that's probably a marquee book that you want to have in your collection. So that book was on the list a few times last year. Number 7 on the list is Thor 337. Beta Ray Bill. Obviously, there's been lots of teasers of him being in the Marvel Universe. Upcoming movie is likely to be in the Guardians 3 movie, is what I've been told. I don't know. It's not a character that I think's that great. I don't think there's a lot of people clamoring to buy. You know, if you came out with a Beta Ray Bill series right now, I don't think it would sell that well. It's not a character that is super popular. But if you had the right writer on it, you know, obviously it can do well. It's not a character I care to hunt down. I mean, I have the second appearance, so I have the 338. I got it cheap. I found it at a comic book shop for like $8 or something. So I got a really good deal on it. It's in high grade too. But I don't have 337, the first appearance. I have 338, the second appearance. But still a good book to have. 9/8s are still selling in the $400 plus range. It is a white cover, so you know, conditions a little difficult on that. So that is number 7 on the list. Let me check back to the chat here. Let's see who else we got here. Manny the Comic Collector, he's always on the stream. Welcome, my friend. Marcus, welcome, my good buddy Marcus. Yeah, no kidding, Marcus. He's referencing my 9/6 on Giant X-Men #1. Yes, I had a 9/6 at one time. It's a big book now. Wasn't when I sold it. Well, it was still a pretty big book when I sold it, but obviously it's gone up quite a bit since. Comic Head 80. Craig 69. Welcome, my friend. Immortal Biggie Shack. There he is, the man himself. No one is bigger than Biggie Shack on YouTube. He's got an awesome channel. Dennis Hayes, welcome, my friend. Yes, I will be doing the new one as well, but since I missed last week's, I'm doing last week's as well. So hang in there, Dennis. You'll see it, my friend. All right, let's get back to the list. I left off with number 7, Thor 337, first appearance of Beta Ray Bill. Number 6 on the list is Avengers 684. First appearance of Immortal Hulk, I guess. Is that right? Or no, that's not the first appearance of Immortal Hulk. All right, maybe it is. I know it's, yeah, I think it is the first appearance of Immortal Hulk. He was shot and killed by Hawkeye in Civil War 2, number what? Was it number 8? I think it was number 8. Yeah, my memory's a little sketchy on that, but that is the first appearance of Immortal Hulk. So it is a marquee book, $30 consistently. Luckily, I do have a copy of it. Instead of buying a second copy of the A cover, I bought the Scotty Young variant. I regret that. Oh well. But I do have 2 copies of it. Technically, one's the Scotty Young variant, which I don't think sells near as well as the regular A cover. So that's a little investing tip for you. Most of the time, you're better off buying the A cover. When in doubt, buy the A cover for sure. But obviously, the incentive covers will typically do better just because of scarcity. As you will see in our number 5 listing, which is Immortal Hulk number 2. This is the Geraldo Zaffino cover, 1 for 25 variant. So I have both those books in my collection. I did pick that up for a song. I picked it up for $20 maybe on eBay. I mean, with shipping, it was $20. So I got a really good deal. I got it below ratio. So when Immortal Hulk first came out, I don't think anyone really picked up on how good it was until like issue 4 or 5. So the first couple issues of Immortal Hulk, I mean, I probably could have bought 3 or 4 of those for $20 to $25. There were a bunch of them. I went to my comic book shop, local comic book shop. The shop owner had a couple sitting on the shelf. It wasn't real hard to find. I mean, I've, at least not for me, I saw several of them. So I did pick up at least one copy. And of course, I picked up 2 copies of the regular A cover, which has done obviously well in the secondary market. But this is definitely the hot book, one of the hottest books of last year. Raws are still going around that 250 to 275 pretty consistently. 9/8, believe it or not, 9/8 did sell. If you check eBay, there were 9/8 that sold in the $800 to $1,000 range. But I would say right now a 9/8 on that book is still going to be right around $600, $600 to $700 maybe. Maybe a little less. Depends. I think the book's cooled off quite a bit. It's a really cool cover, though. I love him. I love Zaffino's artwork, and that's one of the best. Just it's gritty. It's him breaking through a wall. I mean, it's just an awesome looking cover. I had a chance actually to buy the original artwork on that cover. There was a guy online selling it at the time, and I just didn't. I probably could have afforded to buy it, but it was, my wife would have killed me. It was, I think the guy was asking like $3,000 for it, and I offered him like, I asked him if he would take like $2,000, and he would. I should have bought it. $2,000. I'd have had the original artwork on that cover, but oh well. Probably a big mistake. I should have bought it. I have a lot of those if you haven't noticed. Number 4 on the list is Werewolf by Night number 32. Obviously a marquee bronze book. First appearance of Moon Knight. Yeah, the time to buy that book was probably 2016, 2017. The price on that book was not super hot then. Right now, it's outrageously expensive for that book, especially like 8.0 or higher. Forget it. It's thousands and thousands of dollars. So that would be a book that if you can maybe find an auction, where it looks like it's in high grade and raw, maybe you can get it cleaned and pressed, and that would be your only chance is maybe get a really good deal on an auction. But so many people want that book. I don't know. It's just one of those books that kind of like Jim's Comics says, maybe I'll find it at a flea market one day. That's Jim's Comics is hoping he finds an Amazing Fantasy 15 at a flea market. It'd be like finding a lottery ticket, but yeah, it could happen. It's not impossible, but pretty low odds. All right, let me go back to the chat here real quick. Aggressively relaxing. Welcome, my friend. Beta Real Bill just got a stand. Yeah, that was with the Annihilation Scourge, I think. So he did get a standalone, but he's got a cult following, no doubt about it. But he's nowhere near mainstream. He's definitely a C character, B-, C+ character, in my opinion. Discovery Bay, what's going on? Welcome to the chat. Malcolm Giles, welcome, my friend. We also got Inbound Hunter in the chat. New Thor #1 was amazing. Yeah, I don't have that yet. I'll be picking that up next week. So I've heard it was good. Donny Cates usually got a good chance of it being pretty good with Donny Cates. I liked Absolute Carnage at the start of the series. It kind of died off for a little bit near the end. So I liked the beginning of Absolute Carnage a lot better than the end. So Cates usually does a pretty solid job, though, no doubt about it. Aggressively Reacts says Immortal Hulk smashed Facebook in the comic. That book is still great. Yeah, it's a great cover. No doubt about it. All right, so let's go back to the list. Number 3 on the list from last year was kind of one of these really rare books. I don't know how many of them are in print, but you obviously got a tribute to Stan Lee. He passed away last year. That was one of the biggest news events in comic book world. The great Stan Lee passed away. He lived a long time. What was he, 95 years old? So he did well. He lived a long time. He had a full life, no doubt about it. But that book is pretty hard to find. I think there was even, yeah, there was a Marvel employee got fired because they sold a copy. I don't know if they, I don't know what the story was. I guess they weren't supposed to sell it. I don't know. These were given out to a very limited amount of people, so it's a pretty low print run book. So not a book I would ever spend money. I mean, if I'm going to spend $1,000 on a comic book, it isn't going to be that one. That would be very low on my list of, if I found it in a comic book shop for pretty cheap, I'd buy it. I wouldn't turn it down, but I wouldn't pay big money for it. That's for sure. All right, number 2 on the list. This book was really hot last year. Young Avengers #1. I told my story on this book. I had the entire 1 through 12 for sale. Plus, I had the director's cut of #1. I had them for sale on eBay for like $25, the whole set, and no one bought it. And luckily, my listing expired because I forgot I even had it. And when I saw that book was really hot and heating up, I thought to myself, didn't I own that at one time? I had thought I'd sold it. But luckily, it was still in my collection. So I pulled it out, put it in a Mylar, and I'm keeping every issue. I've got 1 through 12. I also have the director's cut of #1, and that book in high grade is definitely selling pretty consistently, 175 to 200 range. But that was on the list twice last year. Disney Plus series coming out. Kate Bishop, it's her first appearance. She's going to be in the Disney Plus series, so you could see that book getting hotter. I could see that book going for more money in the future. So if you have it, hold on to it, in my opinion. If you find a really good deal on one, pick one up. I definitely think it's a book that will do pretty well. Now, what is surprising is the #1 comic book on the list, mainly because it was on the list 4 times. It's kind of amazing. But Naomi #1 was on the list as the #1 book twice, which is unbelievable. And it was on a total of 4 times. So, I remember at one point that book was selling for over $120 raw. I don't think it's selling for near that much now. I think you can get a raw copy around $65, $70 maybe. 9/8 are still selling north of 125. A lot of people still think this book has a lot of long-term potential. Yeah, I don't doubt that. I mean, I've got a copy. I bought my copy for like $20. I didn't get it for cover, unfortunately, but I did get it early on, so I got a good price on it, and I'm going to hold it and see where it goes. I'm not usually a big fan of Bendis. Usually he's got way too much dialogue for me, but it was pretty good. Jamal Campbell's artwork is fantastic. He's doing the artwork on Far Sector right now, which has been pretty decent. I did pick up the first couple of copies of that. So Naomi, yeah, it's a good book. The story was decent. I liked it. Bendis is pretty good at kind of writing younger people. I mean, he tends to be pretty good at that. He did a good job with the Ultimate Spider-Man back in the day. I remember reading all that. I liked it. I thought it was a good series. I don't like everything Bendis does. I think sometimes he's way too much into dialogue. But that is your top 10 list for last year. These are the books that were on the top 10 list quite a bit last year, multiple times. So that's why they're on the list at the end of the year. So that's your special end of the year Hot 10 of 2019. Let me go back to the chat before I switch over to the current week's list of hot books. Got 19 people in the chat. My God. Everybody has nothing else to do right now. It's amazing. We got Mad Mike's Comics. He's in the chat. Mark Knapp 68. What else we got here? Biggie Shack is still there. So I did place my order today, by the way, everybody, for the March pre-orders. I did put my order in for the March pre-orders. $123 worth of comic books. So that was about 43 different books. A lot of DC, a lot of Marvel, a couple, obviously a few independents in there, but it could pretty good mixture. I've done videos on my pre-orders, so if you want to look back on my video history, you'll see I did a video of the books I was pre-ordering for March. Pretty much kept to that list. I try to trim it down a little bit, but man, I went through it again today before I finally placed the order, and man, that was it. 43 books. I mean, that's what I could see. I definitely felt like I had to pick those up. They were must buys in my opinion. So there's a lot of good books coming out in March for sure, no doubt about it. All right, so let's go back to the Hot 10 list for this past week, the week ending January 3rd. A couple interesting ones in there. So we'll start off with we'll do some mentions. I'll start doing this a little bit more. Mysterious Adventures number 21. A CGC 4.0 just sold for $700, which is more than a 6.5 sold for back in 2018. Obviously, if you are a horror comic book collector, EC comic book collector, these books will appeal to you. Yeah, all that horror style of book from the 60s and 70s is on fire, selling for big money these days. The more gruesome the cover looks, the more it usually will command. So you've got a woman about to get her head chopped off. So that's probably, one of the reasons it's controversial cover. It's not an easy book to find. It says here in any grade. So if you find a copy, that would be one of those things that, man, if you could find a store that has a lot of old horror comic books for sale and you knew what you were doing, you probably could find some deals. But that's definitely one that is an honorable mention. Silver Surfer number 3 is another honorable mention. All the buzz around Moon Knight and the horror theme, people are expecting Mephisto to show up. This was one of my grails last year that I picked up. I got a really nice graded copy, not a graded copy. I got a raw copy and a really high grade. My copy's probably 8.0 or higher. I think it might even be an 8.5, and I picked it up for like $225. I got a really, really good deal. That book should have sold. It was an auction. I got lucky. It was a late night auction. It's just once in a while you can get lucky on eBay on auctions, and I feel bad for the seller. I mean, he really should have got close to $400 for that book, and I got it for like $225. So it was one of my grails. I was really, really happy to pick that book up last year. First appearance of Mephisto, and it's one of the most badass covers, I think. In my opinion, besides the Silver Surfer number 4, that's probably my favorite cover from that Silver Surfer series. But I'd say my second favorite is number 3. I just love that cover. It is fantastic. So if you can pick that up for a decent deal, man, pick it up. I think that book's only going to keep climbing in value. All right, number 10 on the list is Stormbreaker, the Saga of Beta Ray Bill number 1. So again, all things Beta Ray Bill. Hold on one second, guys. I'll be right back. Just take a quick pause. I'll be right back with you. Sorry, everybody. I had to say goodbye to my daughter. She's spending the night over at a friend's house, and I wanted to say goodbye to her before she left. So that's why I had to take a break there for a second. All right, number 9 on the list. So we covered number 10, Beta Ray Bill, $5 to $10 book a few weeks ago. Now it's selling $20 plus. So that might be a book that if you find it in the back issue bin, grab it. I think it came out a few years ago. It's not a new book. It's an older book. So you may want to look for that one. Number 9 on the list is Harley Quinn, Villain of the Year, #1. This is the Natalie Sanders KRS variant out of 1500. This is the one I picked up. I liked it because it looks like a Vogue magazine cover. I just really I dug the design on it. So I picked this up for $25, I believe off of KRS's website. I didn't like the Virgin, so I didn't buy the set. I just bought the trade dress, but they consider the trade dress, which I thought was way better. I like the fact that it's got all these words on it. It makes it look like a Vogue magazine. But selling for $40 to $50 now, so I'm glad I bought it. That thing's doing well, so I'm glad I picked that up. Number 8 on the list is Cyclock #1, the second print. That's a really tough book to find. I've tried to buy that book in the past. And any buy it now listings were way expensive. And to find that book, it says $60 to $70 back in the fall. It jumped to $90. Now 175 plus. Yeah, that's a really tough book to find. So, I mean, it's possible you could find that at a comic book shop. Maybe. I don't know. It was a super low print run. Just a really rare book. It's probably even a good deal at 175. It's just one of those books that's really tough to find. So that is one that I did have my eye on last year. I just couldn't find a copy. It was too hard to find. Number 7 on the list is Canto #1. Definitely one of the better independent series from last year. It was on my top comic books to read list that I did on Monday. Canto #1. Really good book. Great series. Great read. It was a great read. I could definitely see that being made into an animated movie or something like that. So that was $10 to $15 book for a while. Looks like it's jumped back up to $40 to $50, and 9/8 are selling $250 plus. I believe I have like 3 or 4 copies of it, so I did go heavy on it. I just had a feeling it was going to be a hot book, and it definitely is. So Canto #1, excellent book. Number 6 on the list is another book that I picked up about 4 months ago, really cheap. I think I picked it up for like $10. Man, I've done pretty well here. I have 1, 2, 3 of the 5 books so far, and I picked them up, pretty cheap. Number 6 is Angela, Asgard's Assassin #1. You got Stephanie Hans doing art inside, which is beautiful. You got Carrie Gillian, who's doing Once and Future, doing the writing. It's a great series. It's a beautiful looking book. $10 book, which is probably what I paid for it, and now selling $50 plus. So I'm glad to see that that's on the list. I think that's a good book to have in your collection. Number 5 on the list is Star Wars Rise of Kylo Ren #1. Regular covers going for $20 to $25. Yeah, I mean, right now Star Wars is on people's minds. The movie just came out. The Rise of Skywalker just came out. You've got a pretty strong collecting base of Star Wars people that will, pay money for these Star Wars books. And I've been saying it all year long. All you got to do is buy those 1 in 25, 1 in 50 incentive covers on any Star Wars book, and it pretty much goes up in value. At the worst, it's going to be at least worth what you paid, because the demand on that book will be strong. So that's a book that, will probably hold up pretty well, just because there's so many people in the Star Wars universe that want that kind of stuff. Number 4 on the list is The Witcher #1. So the book had some movement early last year because of the announcement of the TV series. So it was a $20 to $30 book pretty consistently last year. Now it's $50 plus. The TV series did well. I think mainly because of Henry Cavill. I think he's a good actor. He's a good action actor. He's good at playing a brooding character. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you could have cast anyone better than him to play The Witcher. I enjoyed the series. I thought it was really good. It was entertaining. I don't know. I mean, I liked it better than the last season of Game of Thrones. I can tell you that much. There were a lot of beautiful naked women in it. That was also a plus. So if you like seeing naked, beautiful women in it, that TV series is for you. So Witcher, good TV series on Netflix, and the comic book is probably going to do pretty well for a while, I would imagine. Number 3 on the list is Detective Comics, the Batman 80th Anniversary Giant. So these were Walmart produced books that came out. Just depending on where you live, maybe not that hard to get, but where I live in Florida, I just don't ever see these books. I mean, I've gone to multiple Walmarts looking for them and just can't find them. They're just not there. So if you were lucky enough to pick one of these books up, it looks like this book is now selling over $100. It's pretty amazing. I don't know. I mean, who knows? You might still see it in a Walmart somewhere. So if you're shopping at Walmart for your Wrangler jeans, you may want to stop off near the registers to see if they have it there. Who knows? Let me go back in the chat before I get to the last two. Let me go back and see here. See if I missed anything. BTC Moon Guy, welcome to the chat. Marcus needs to pick up another Grail. Well, it's early in the year, right? So you got some time. Let's see here. Zach B, welcome to the chat, my friend. Perry's Comics. Perry has time to tune into my channel. Usually he's shooting 3 or 4 videos a day. I'm surprised he has time to check out my channel. Perry does a lot of great content. Perry, I wish I had Perry's production value. He does, like, he puts in clips. He's good. He's not like me who just half-asses everything. He actually has production value to his videos. So I definitely encourage you to check out Perry's channel. He's got a great channel. He does a review of books every week. He does a lot of interesting videos, so check him out. Yeah, Marcus has a big book, man. That House of Secrets. That's House of Secrets 92. That's definitely one of my grails. I would love to find a copy of that. Jim's Comics picked one up last year as well. A really high-grade copy, too. I was looking at an auction at one, but it just went too high. I couldn't afford it. Just the last 5 minutes of the auction, people just started bidding on it like crazy. All right. What else we got here in the chat? Walmart Comics all over, but the Detective was a hard one to find. Yeah, apparently that was a short print run. I don't find ever much. Where I'm up in Tampa, I don't see much at the Walmarts there. It's pretty slim pickings. All right. And Marcus is like, you better save up, Marcus, man. Werewolf by Night 32. Yeah, it's going to cost you a couple weeks paychecks for that book. At least for me, it would. That's a expensive book at this point. Comic Head still hanging out with us. Awesome. All right, let's get back. Let's finish the last two on the list. Number 2 is Tarot. Number 1, is it Tarot? Tarot. Is it Tarot? Tarot? I don't know. I can't pronounce things. Number 1, the David Nakayama 1 in 50 variants. Cool cover. Definitely a cool cover. That was a 56. I think Midtown had that for like $65. They had it for more than a ratio. I would say 65, maybe 85 at the most. And now it's pushing 150. So anybody that picked that up near ratio, congratulations. You've done well so far. You've more than doubled your money. Yeah, it's a cool looking cover. Long term, is that book going to hold its value? I don't know. It's possible. We'll see. I don't think I'm going to chase it at this point, but if I ran across that for $50 to $60, yeah, I would probably pick it up. And number one on the list is Star Wars. Number one, the blank Thor Air. All right, so what is this? It says, I don't even know how this could have happened, but Thor number one and Star Wars number one were jumbled on some of these blanks. How rare is this that not yet hasn't been determined, but there have been 8 sales from the $60 to $80 range and only 1 current listing on eBay, if that helps. Does anyone else wonder what happens to the guy in the quality control that let these out the door? Well, first of all, it's Marvel. I would say 80% of the time Marvel has their heads up their ass. They're probably the worst comic book publisher when it comes to quality control. Their paper is shit. If they publish an oversized comic book, meaning more than 32 pages, they still use 2 staples. I have all kinds of examples this past year of them doing that. And so, of course, when they come off the printing press, every corner, usually it's the bottom corner, but a lot of times the top corner as well, will get dinged because they're putting too many pages into the press, and then they're only using 2 staples. So when you go more than 32 pages, most publishers do that like DC does, right? DC does a great job with their oversized books. They typically do square bound spines. Marvel is a cheap ass, stupid ass company. They don't do that. So of course they fuck it all up by pinching it. So to get a 9.8, first of all, if you're buying an oversized comic book and CGC grades it a 9.8, it's not a 9.8. I almost can guarantee you it's not a 9.8. It's more likely a 9.6 or a 9.4 because it's damaged right from the printing. And if you're a shop owner or if you're somebody that deals with Marvel on a regular basis, this is not news to you. This is standard fare. So yeah, Marvel, they're probably the worst publisher when it comes to quality. And mistakes, yeah, they're more likely going to happen with Marvel more so than any other publisher, and they just use cheap paper. Their quality is terrible. If you want to see good quality, check out Vault Comics. They use a lot of their books are card stock thick covers. DC uses good quality paper most of the time. Boom Studios uses really good paper, good quality. They usually don't let anything go out the door unless it's perfect condition. I mean, just a lot of publishers actually care. Marvel doesn't give a shit. And that's what happens when you're at the top, right? When you own all these properties, all these licenses, you know, you can do whatever you want. People have to buy your shit because you're producing Spider-Man, Hulk, Thor. I mean, you own all the great characters, so it doesn't matter. People will buy it anyways. So, of course, they're trying to make a few extra bucks. If they can scrimp on quality, that's what they're going to do. All right, went off on my soapbox. I just slammed Marvel for a couple minutes there. But yeah, Marvel probably the worst in quality as far as comic book production. No doubt about it. Yeah, Aftershock, I agree with you. Aftershock's quality is great. They use good paper. Marvel's the worst, no doubt about it. And they should be the best, right? They're the preeminent comic book seller in the marketplace. They have the highest market share of any comic book company, and they have the worst quality. So there you go. That's what you get. So that's kind of what I had, guys. Yeah, if you're going to buy a lot of Marvel books, you better buy a press. Although a press is not going to do any good on those oversized books because the binding in the corners are screwed up, and a press won't do anything for you on that. So, yeah, press is not a bad idea. Or the better is if you can find somebody local that's really, really good at pressing. And like there's a guy in Tampa that supposedly is like the Michelangelo of pressing. all these guys in Tampa telling me he's unbelievably good, and he charges like $10 a book. So I don't know. For me, I can get a lot of books pressed before I come up to what the cost of a press, the learning curve of figuring out how to press a book properly. I mean, I'm sure it would take a while practicing to get the technique down. So how much would that cost me? A decent press is gonna cost you what? Probably $300 to $500, somewhere in that range for a really good press. And then there's going to be time involved in getting your technique down to be able to properly press a book the right way. I don't know. To me, $10 a press, hell, I can press a lot of books before I come up to breaking even on that deal. So, yeah, I think if you don't have anyone that can press a book that's really good that lives near you, that would be your second best option, is to buy a press. Yeah, $175 for a t-shirt press. There you go. I mean, I've seen them on sale on eBay. I guess there's cheap ones on eBay. What I've been told is the good presses are usually $300 plus. And they heat the book up to a certain level. I can't remember what the heat level was, but you've got to be able to steam and press the book. And those presses are a little bit more expensive. So I don't know. There's all kinds of YouTube videos on it. So if you're interested in doing that, check it out. YouTube has a lot of videos on that. All right, guys, it is getting late. Where I'm at in Florida, it's January and mosquitoes are starting to bite me. That tells you how warm it is down here. I think the high today was like 84 degrees. So I literally have mosquitoes biting me right now as I'm doing this. So I'm going to end the stream. I appreciate everybody checking in, tuning into the chat, to the stream, contributing to the messages. If you haven't already, please like my channel, share my videos if you can. That helps me grow my channel, and I appreciate everybody that participates. I appreciate the community. The YouTube community is awesome. And yeah, next week I'll be back in form. I'll have a lot more videos, and I get a lot of more of those videos out. Maybe I'll do a couple live streams with a couple people as well. ComicCat84, hit me up. Maybe I'll join in with you if you've got some time available. All right, guys, I'll check in with you soon. Have a good evening and have a great weekend.